In this video, we're going to take a look at the South Oval at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Just getting started, we'll talk about some of the safety features of the corner. So pausing just at the beginning of the corner, you can see that it's partially blind. You can't see the apex or the exit. They're very late. It's also surrounded on both sides by the solid surface, the wall. Next to the wall, there's usually a lot of marbles that build up, and you can lose a lot of grip on the outside all the way around the track. There's a lot of bumps and grooves that change throughout the corner that can upset the balance of the car. So certainly get up to speed slowly. The apex is all the way around the corner where the chicane meets the South Oval and is just at the bottom of lane 2. On track out, you lose a lot of camber and grip, and the car can sometimes end up oversteering, so you'll end up at a point of no return on the throttle. So if you lift off the throttle, it can cause quite a bit of rotation. And of course, keep in mind that the brake zone for turn 3 has to be quite a bit earlier, given the higher exit speeds out of the oval compared to turn 2B if we're running the chicane configuration. Next thing to keep in mind is vision. So always looking ahead in the oval as you're approaching, scout which lane you're approaching, the arc that you're planning on taking. Make sure to use the ads, the billboards, the lanes, the different pavement colors, the corner worker station, everything you can as reference points, and it can actually be helpful to map out the turn-in point, of course, the break points, but beyond that, you can map out where you want to be in the oval at different points. So as you pass the beginning of the grass, do you want to be in lane 3? Do you want to be closer to lane 4 or lane 2? It's going to depend based on which car you have, but it helps to use those as a reference point. And then same thing, taking a look at the end of the grass, approaching the apex, pretty much lined up with the corner 2B station. Which lane do you want to be as you're getting towards the end of the grass? And then after the apex, where do you want to be relative to the end of the darker pavement on the outside of lane 3? Where do you want to pass it? Are you in trouble if you pass it before the end in a high horsepower car? Most likely. So keep that in mind. Same thing with if you take a look, there's often a dark mark on the side of the wall where folks track out just a little too far. So tracking out just ahead of that is usually a good idea. But using that as a mark for track out is a good one too. But make sure at this point you really should keep your vision up the track so you don't end up staring at the wall and tracking out right into it. And definitely spot up the break point for turn 3, which again is going to be a bit earlier. As far as the line goes, I like to start on the outside all the way up against the wall, just inside of the marbles, and then quickly, as soon as the new pavement or the pavement patch begins, I like to be in lane 4, and then quickly down to lane 3, where I spend most of the time until I get to about halfway through the corner. I like to avoid most of the bump that's about halfway around in between lanes 2 and 3. It's kind of unavoidable, but I find that staying just a little bit wider on the outside of lane 2 and up into lane 3 helps. And then from there, continuing to arc down towards the bottom of lane 2 and dipping just into lane 1 by the time the car reaches where the chicane meets the oval here. On track out, once I'm fully up to speed and comfortable tracking out to the wall, I'll track out just before the end of the pavement patch and reach the point of the wall just after the dark pavement. The arc continues in a straight line into turn 3. As far as getting up to speed, I'd recommend starting with the middle of the corner first. So no trail braking, getting off the brakes nice and early and getting the car slowed down and just feeling out the different bumps and grooves. You can see the camera bouncing around through here. Pay attention to how the car reacts and how it behaves, and just get up to speed slowly. Don't bother getting on the gas too early at the exit or trying to carry in way too much momentum. Just build up speed slowly and begin to feel the limit mid-corner and how the car reacts. After that, I'd make sure to get the arc right before adding any more speed. Making sure that you're swooping down from lane 4 all the way down to the bottom of lane 2 for a late apex and doing so consistently. Once you've got that down, the timing of that really slow arc on the wheel, then you can begin to add some speed on exit. And at this point, trying to pick up that throttle point as smoothly as you can and begin committing to the throttle, paying attention to how far the momentum tracks you out, experimenting with this slowly and gradually, perhaps just a couple feet at a time. Finally, you're going to want to carry as much momentum into the corner as possible. So moving up the brake zone just a little bit so you can trail brake and carry a little bit of speed. If you do trail brake, you want to release the pedal as smoothly and as slowly as possible. Same thing if releasing off the gas pedal for a lift. You want to transition the weight in one fluid motion smoothly onto the right wheels and keep it there as steady as possible all the way around the corner. So maintaining as much momentum on the way in, but as smoothly as possible with really long pedal inputs. Finally, as you get up to speed on the oval and really have your reference points down, and you can be really confident about where you are, how the car is reacting, you'll find that just smoothness in the oval and the tiniest bit of movements on the brake pedal and just slowing down that trail brake a little bit more, perhaps easing onto the throttle the tiniest bit earlier, not bleeding off quite as much speed on the brake. It's going to be these little things, not big jumps in speed in the oval, but these little things that will eventually lead to the best lap time through the oval. So with that in mind, we'll just watch through one more time. Thanks for checking out the video, and hopefully this was helpful, and have a safe, fast trip this weekend with Com Sports Car Club running the South Oval.